Have you ever woken up in the morning, looked out the window, and felt like the world was moving on without you? Maybe you've noticed that the days feel longer, but not in a good way, like time is stretching out and you're not sure how to fill it. Or perhaps you've caught yourself feeling lonely, even when you're surrounded by people. If any of this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Many of us, especially after 65, find ourselves grappling with feelings of loneliness or even depression. But here's the thing, it doesn't have to be this way. In fact, there are simple, practical steps you can take to turn things around and rediscover joy, purpose, and connection in your life. That's exactly what we're going to talk about today. How to stay positive after 65 with 7 tips to overcome loneliness and depression. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Easier said than done, right? But trust me, these aren't just vague suggestions or empty platitudes. These are actionable, proven strategies that have helped countless people just like you. And the best part? You don't need to overhaul your entire life to start seeing a difference. Small changes can lead to big results. So, let's dive in and explore the first few tips together. The first tip is all about connection, specifically building and maintaining meaningful relationships. You see, as we get older, our social circles often shrink. Friends move away, family members get busy, and it's easy to feel isolated. But human connection is one of the most powerful tools we have for combating loneliness. It's not just about being around people. It's about being around the right people. Those who uplift you, understand you, and make you feel valued. So how do you do that? Start by reaching out. Call an old friend you haven't spoken to in a while. Join a local club or group that aligns with your interests, whether it's a book club, a gardening group, or even a fitness class. If you're not sure where to start, community centers and libraries often have great resources. And don't underestimate the power of technology. Video calls, social media, and even online forums can help you stay connected with loved ones, no matter where they are. The key is to take that first step, even if it feels a little uncomfortable at first. You might be surprised at how quickly those small efforts can lead to meaningful connections. Now, let's talk about the second tip, finding purpose. One of the biggest challenges we face as we age is the loss of routine and structure. For many of us, retirement marks the end of a career that gave us a sense of purpose and identity. But here's the thing, purpose doesn't have to come from a job. It can come from anything that gives your life meaning, whether it's volunteering, pursuing a hobby, or even mentoring someone younger. Think about what lights you up inside. What are you passionate about? What makes you feel like you're contributing to the world? Maybe it's teaching your grandkids how to bake your famous apple pie, or maybe it's spending time at an animal shelter. Whatever it is, make it a priority. When you have something to look forward to, something that gives you a sense of accomplishment, it's much harder to feel stuck in a rut. And if you're not sure where to start, that's okay. Try something new. Take a class, join a volunteer group, or simply spend some time reflecting on what brings you joy. The important thing is to keep exploring until you find what resonates with you. The third tip is all about movement. Yes, physical activity. Now, I'm not talking about running a marathon or lifting heavy weights, unless that's your thing, of course. I'm talking about gentle, consistent movement that gets your body and mind in sync. Exercise has been shown to have a profound impact on mental health, and it's one of the most effective ways to combat feelings of depression and anxiety. Even something as simple as a daily walk can make a world of difference. Not only does it boost your mood by releasing endorphins, but it also gives you a chance to clear your head and connect with the world around you. If walking isn't your thing, consider yoga, tai chi, or even dancing in your living room. The goal isn't to push yourself to the limit. It's to find something you enjoy and can stick with. And don't forget to celebrate the small victories. Maybe today you walked a little farther than yesterday, or maybe you tried a new stretch. Every step counts. Now, before we move on to the next tips, I want to pause for a moment and acknowledge something. If you're feeling lonely or down, it's okay. It's not a sign of weakness, and it doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. Life after 65 comes with its own set of challenges, and it's natural to feel overwhelmed at times. But the fact that you're here, watching this video, means you're already taking a step in the right direction. You're showing up for yourself, and that's something to be proud of. So let's keep going. Now that we've talked about the importance of connection, purpose, and movement, let's dive into the next few tips that can help you stay positive and overcome loneliness and depression. These are strategies that go a little deeper, touching on how we think, how we care for ourselves, and how we create a life that feels fulfilling and joyful. So, let's keep the momentum going. The fourth tip is all about mindset, specifically cultivating gratitude. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Gratitude? Really? How is that going to help me feel less lonely or depressed? But hear me out. Gratitude is one of the most powerful tools we have for shifting our perspective. When we focus on what we're grateful for, it's like turning on a light in a dark room. Suddenly, we start to see the good things that were always there, even if we didn't notice them before. And the best part? It doesn't require anything external. You don't need more money, more friends, or more stuff to practice gratitude. All you need is a willingness to look for the good in your life. So how do you start? One simple way is to keep a gratitude journal. Every day, write down 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be big things. Maybe it's the smell of fresh coffee in the morning, a kind word from a neighbor, or the way the sunlight filters through your window. Over time, this practice can help rewire your brain to focus on the positive, even when things feel tough. And if journaling isn't your thing, that's okay. You can practice gratitude in other ways, like sharing what you're thankful for with a loved one, or simply taking a moment to silently appreciate the good things in your life. The key is to make a habit. The more you do it, the more natural it will feel. Next up is the 5th tip, taking care of your mental health. This one is so important, especially as we age. You see, mental health isn't just about avoiding depression or anxiety. It's about creating a sense of inner peace and resilience. And there are so many ways to do that. One of the most effective is mindfulness. Now, I know mindfulness can sound a little intimidating if you've never tried it before, but it's really just about being present in the moment. It's about noticing what's happening right now, without judgment or distraction. And the benefits are incredible. Studies have shown that mindfulness can reduce stress, improve focus, and even boost your mood. So, how do you get started? One simple way is to try a mindfulness meditation. You don't need any special equipment or training. Just a quiet space and a few minutes of your time. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and focus on your breath. Notice how it feels as you inhale and exhale. If your mind starts to wander, and it will, that's completely normal. Gently bring your attention back to your breath. Even just 5 minutes a day can make a difference. And if meditation isn't your thing, there are other ways to practice mindfulness, like paying attention to the sights, sounds, and smells around you as you take a walk, or really savoring each bite of a meal. The goal is to slow down and be present, even if it's just for a few moments. The 6th tip is about self-care, and I'm not just talking about bubble baths and face masks, although those can be nice too. Self-care is about taking care of your whole self, your body, your mind, and your spirit. It's about recognizing that you deserve to feel good, and that taking care of yourself isn't selfish. It's essential. So what does self-care look like after 65? It can be different for everyone, but here are a few ideas to get you started. First, prioritize sleep. Getting enough rest is crucial for both physical and mental health, but it's something many of us struggle with as we age. If you're having trouble sleeping, try creating a bedtime routine that helps you wind down, like reading a book, listening to calming music, or doing some gentle stretches. Second, nourish your body with healthy, delicious food. Eating well isn't just about avoiding illness. It's about feeling energized and vibrant. Focus on whole, nutrient-rich foods like fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and whole grains. And don't forget to treat yourself once in a while. Life is too short to skip dessert. Third, make time for activities that bring you joy. Whether it's painting, gardening, playing an instrument, or simply sitting outside with a good book, do things that make your heart happy. And finally, don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it. Whether it's hiring someone to help with household chores or talking to a therapist about how you're feeling, reaching out is a sign of strength, not weakness. Now, let's talk about the 7th tip, embracing change. This one can be tough, especially if you're someone who likes routine and predictability. But the truth is, life is full of changes, especially as we get older. Kids move out, friends move away, and our bodies and minds change in ways we might not always like. But here's the thing, change doesn't have to be scary. In fact, it can be an opportunity for growth and discovery. The key is to approach it with an open mind and a sense of curiosity. Instead of focusing on what you've lost, try to focus on what you've gained. Maybe retirement has given you the freedom to travel or pursue a passion you never had time for before. Maybe moving to a smaller home has allowed you to simplify your life and focus on what really matters. And if you're facing a change that feels overwhelming, like the loss of a loved one or a health challenge, give yourself permission to grieve and adjust at your own pace. Change isn't always easy, but it's a natural part of life. And when we learn to embrace it, we open ourselves up to new possibilities and experiences. Before we move on to the final tips, I want to take a moment to reflect on what we've covered so far. We've talked about the importance of connection, purpose, movement, gratitude, mental health, self-care, and embracing change. These are all powerful tools for staying positive and overcoming loneliness and depression. But remember, you don't have to do everything at once. Start with 1 or 2 tips that resonate with you and build from there. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. And every small step you take is a step toward a happier, healthier, more fulfilling life. We've covered so much ground already. Connection, purpose, movement, gratitude, mental health, self-care, and embracing change. These are all powerful tools to help you stay positive and overcome loneliness and depression after 65. But before we wrap things up, I want to share a few more tips that can make a big difference in your life. These are the finishing touches, the little things that can add up to create a life that feels full, meaningful, and joyful. The 8th tip is about staying curious and learning new things. You know what they say, you're never too old to learn. And it's true. Keeping your mind active and engaged is one of the best ways to stay sharp and feel alive. But it's not just about preventing cognitive decline. It's about finding joy in discovery. Think about something you've always wanted to learn but never had the time for. Maybe it's a new language, a musical instrument, or even a craft like knitting or woodworking. Thanks to the internet, there are endless resources available to help you get started. You can take online classes, watch tutorials, or join virtual communities of people who share your interests. And don't worry if you're not an expert right away. The point isn't to be perfect, it's to have fun and challenge yourself. Learning something new can give you a sense of accomplishment and keep your mind engaged, which is so important for your overall well-being. The 9th tip is about giving back. Now, this might sound counterintuitive. After all, if you're feeling lonely or down, how can you possibly help someone else? But here's the thing. Helping others is one of the most powerful ways to lift your own spirits. When you give your time, energy, or resources to someone in need, it creates a sense of connection and purpose that's hard to beat. And it doesn't have to be a big, formal commitment. It could be as simple as volunteering at a local food bank, mentoring a young person, or even just checking in on a neighbor who might be feeling lonely. The act of giving reminds us that we're part of something bigger than ourselves and that our actions matter. Plus, it's a great way to meet new people and build meaningful relationships. So, if you're feeling stuck, try shifting your focus outward. You might be surprised at how much it helps. The 10th and final tip is about celebrating the small wins. Life after 65 can come with its share of challenges, but it's also full of moments worth celebrating. Maybe you walked a little farther today than you did yesterday. Maybe you tried a new recipe and it turned out great. Or maybe you simply got out of bed and faced the day, even when it felt hard. Those moments matter. They're proof that you're moving forward, even if it's just one small step at a time. So, take a moment to acknowledge and celebrate your wins, no matter how small they might seem. Keep a journal where you write down your accomplishments or share them with a friend or loved one. The more you focus on the positive, the more you'll start to notice it in your life. Now, before we wrap up, let's take a moment to recap what we've covered. We've talked about the importance of connection, purpose, movement, gratitude, mental health, self-care, embracing change, staying curious, giving back, and celebrating the small wins. These are all tools you can use to stay positive and overcome loneliness and depression after 65. But remember, this isn't a one-size-fits-all approach. What works for one person might not work for another, and that's okay. The key is to find what resonates with you and make it a part of your life. I also want to remind you that it's okay to ask for help. If you're feeling overwhelmed or stuck, don't hesitate to reach out to a trusted friend, family member, or professional. There's no shame in seeking support. It's a sign of strength, not weakness. And if you're not sure where to start, that's okay too. Just take it one step at a time. Maybe today you try a mindfulness meditation, or maybe you simply take a few moments to write down what you're grateful for. Every small step counts. Finally, I want to leave you with this. Life after 65 is a new chapter, and it's full of possibilities. Yes, there will be challenges, but there will also be moments of joy, connection, and discovery. You have so much to offer the world, and your experiences and wisdom are invaluable. So, don't be afraid to embrace this stage of life with curiosity and courage. You've already come so far, and there's so much more ahead. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you found this video helpful, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What tips resonated with you? What strategies have worked for you in your own life? Let's keep the conversation going and support each other on this journey. And if you haven't already, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more tips and inspiration on living your best life after 65. Here's to staying positive, finding joy, and embracing all that life has to offer. You've got this.